I like that. You even cut in TRX.
Got it up on the table. This fixture mounts to the middle of the table and then mounts to where the front bumper.
Now, how so? Just like using one of these
There's
holes?
2 bolts up underneath. Yeah,
Oh.
They look like that.
Yeah, I can see them.
So that makes sure that the front of the chassis is centered on the table. So then after I got done with that, I went and measured from the chassis to the edge of the table on both sides and centered the back of it up. So the whole thing is centered to the table.
So is that what these are? This is clamping your widest point, which is the rear?
This fixture is to run off of the back tire so that I can use another bar to measure off of, so that I know that my measurements, when I need to set up the camber caster, when I go to set 0, I'm actually, in line with the rear tire. So I've done that on both sides. So first I'm gonna install the turn plate. I have one turn plate and then I have a pad for the other side that compensates the height.
And those mount here?
And that'll set on here. I have the ride height set at 8 inches, but it's not necessarily 8 because the turn plate's 1 inch. So in reality, I am doing all my measurements off of a ride height of 7 inches.
Okay.
So we're gonna start off with this left-hand side. I'm just gonna set this turn plate up. First thing.
Look at this apparatus.
Yeah, so eventually I'd like to get 2 turn plates, but they're pricey, so
you do it one at a time.
I use one at a time, yeah.
But I mean, your jig ensures that nothing's moving. That's the whole point.
Yeah, definitely. So this is because this is a problem with turn plates, is that they won't hold the tire. They're designed for a car where the weight is going to hold it down. So what I'm doing here is, first off, I have to get the turn plate locked into the fixture of the table, and then I can set the width up correctly.
So these plates are essentially for race cars. I see the name right on there, huh?
Yeah. There's a few different ways that this can be done, but this is the way I've been doing it. I get a little bit more elaborate, though, in the way that the machine is fixtured to the table, which you want that constant. Okay, so we have that. Let me put the block on the other side. This will just allow everything to move.
Oh, he's got it on his own.
Yeah, it's...
Thanks.
All right, so I have to get my digital camber caster gauge set up. This attaches to the center of the spindle. I have to remove the axle nut, and that attachment goes into there. We have our digital camber caster gauge set onto the spindle.
Let me see the face of that so the viewer can see what we're talking about and looking at.
Well, that's the camber setting currently, which it's tipping out 2.5 or 2.3 degrees. So we want, anywhere between 0 and 1 degree tipped in, but I like to try to keep right around the 0.
And you're starting at the same formula you would most Hondas, the setup?
Some manufacturers of A-arms are specific with a certain toe, not necessarily like the camber caster, although that could happen too.
Some also has to be rider preference though.
It is, but basically I like to have the camber somewhere around 0 to 0.5 max, and it's tipping in at the 0.5. And then that's camber. And then caster is the relationship of the spindle between the upper and lower ball joint, and I want that right around 5.5 to 6 degrees. And that comes into play with the lower the number, the more responsive the steering is, or quicker, and then vice versa. So if you had 3 degrees of caster, the thing would be twitchy as heck at speed, but it would turn really easy. and then vice versa. If the thing had 15 degrees of caster, then it would track in a straight line mint. So we're going to be 5.5 to 6 degrees, and then the toe will be set at 0 or just a little bit towed in. All right, so this is where this all comes into play. Is I want to be closer to center, but this is about. All right, so this is 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, now show us what measurements you're looking at.
I'm just looking.
Let me sneak behind you so we can see your tape measure.
The distance, the distance of the tire to this bar, front and back, because I just want to get this set at 0.
Okay, so you're worried about alignment right now.
Yeah, so right now this is just a little over 3/4. That's 5/8. I'm going to turn that slightly.
Now, why aren't you doing it with the tie rod?
I'm not worried about toe. All this is doing is I need the tire straight to set the gauge.
Okay.
So that's just under 3/4, and that's the same thing. So now I know that this is 0.
You're zeroed out there.
Okay.
So you set that table to 0.
I set the table to 0. And that way, when I am reading my camber measurement or my caster measurement is based off of, I know my sweep, because I need to go 15 degrees in either direction. So I know that I'm starting at 0 to move 15 degrees and then, okay. So now that I know that I'm zeroed out there, I can move this out of the way. Now, the first thing I want to do is, normally the procedure I go is caster, camber, and toe is the last thing. But this camber is so far out, I want to get it roughly close, and then we'll go to caster and then jump back and forth. And you're kind of doing both at the same time, but that's where we're going to start here.
And you start at the top A-arm?
Yeah, all the adjustments done in the upper A-arm. Usually, well, it depends on manufacturer. This isn't adjustable down here, the upper ball joint. You're doing all your adjustment on the 2 heims. But in this case, this has adjustment. And this was, when it came off the vehicle, it was really close. So I'm going to use this.
Oh, you hit it right on the money. Look at that.
Well,
zeroed out by hand. That's just impressive.
We're not done yet. All right.
Wow, you had to take that much in, huh?
Yeah.
And the rest is done with the inner heim joint.
Yeah, you could get a little bit more camber if you need to, but we can get it. The reason I didn't go right for the inner is that I would have had to screw these both in probably almost all the way, and that, then I wouldn't have it.
Right, to pick up the slack you just took out of there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have adjustment left, so I didn't want to do that. So here we can achieve it or get really close anyway with this. Okay, so now we're going to jump back here. Now we're going to go to the caster setting. And one thing I want to do, and this is as we, make changes, we're going to have to continue to reference. And so like that's moved slightly. So let's go back. We'll go back to our 0 point and make sure.
How did it move just from pressing on?
Well, once that got tipped in, it changed the angle of everything, and that could have twisted the.
Because that point's higher than center.
Yeah. Okay, so it's just about 1 inch. Just about 1 inch. Okay. So our 0 point is still accurate. Okay, so now we want to go 15 degrees. Because you're looking for, and then I want to level that gauge. Then I'm zeroing it. And then I'm moving a total of 30 degrees. and we're 6 degrees. So that's exactly where we want it. So
now explain our formula that you're looking for there. How'd you come up with these degrees? Is it bumps you're taking into consideration? Straight hits? What is your equation to get to that?
A lot of front ends usually work good between 5 and 7 degrees.
So this is just a proven setting across the board.
Yeah, this is, is a good baseline.
So anybody else looking for this information, what are the numbers that you just did here? At 15 back, you were looking at what?
Well, it's a total. The caster is read at a total of 30 degrees. So I'm bringing it to 15 degrees. I'm zeroing it out. Then I'm sweeping a total of, you're coming back to 0 and then another 15 degrees. So you're doing 30 degrees, and then that's your number. Everybody's going to have something specific. If he told me, hey, I want the thing a little bit more, like it's kind of pushing, it's not turning, we can make some adjustments,
right,
and make changes. Most people are not going to have this, and you can do it on the floor, like a nice level floor.
That was my next question. How's the guy at home supposed to do this?
You can do it. You want to be on a decent level floor. One thing to touch on that I didn't before is all the tires, you want to make sure you have your air pressure. If you run 8 in the back and 12 in the front or whatever it is.
Do that on setup.
That needs to be done before you even start anything. And to take one step further from that is either get a piece of string or a soft tape measure and do the diameter of the tire. I've seen it in the past where you can have 10 pounds and 10 pounds and you got a 30-inch wheel and a 27-inch wheel. So that's going to screw things up. So in that particular case, you're going to put more air in and stretch the tire out. So you want to, if this is 30 and this is 27, you want to go probably past it and let it sit for a bit and then lower it down. And hopefully you can stretch a tire and get them really close.
I don't know if us wood guys worry about that much. Have you heard of that? Nope. That's like race car stuff too.
Yeah. So, we didn't really move too much, but we've changed slightly. We're at 0.2, and that's, those things are going to happen. You're going to be really close. And a lot of times too, when you're making adjustments, these threads, it's all indicative of how the welded fitting into this pipe, you're messing with threads. You're never going to get it perfect. Mm-hmm. You just want it really close. So we're good here. I am going to snug everything up though and verify that those settings, they may change a little.
So you just showed us caster
and camber
at the same time. Next one is
the other side. Toe is at the very, very end.
That's what I was going to get to. You don't do one at a time. You wait till they're both set and then do them one at a time.
Yeah.
You get my question. You wait till both are caster and camber set on both of them, and then you do.
Correct.
Got it. And just a shout out to our buddy Kyle Percy with his frame sitting there.
All right, we're going to switch everything over to the other side now. All right. Okay. I know. It'd be like...
We can do that through the magic of video, but you still got to get the job done. Mario is starting on this right-hand side. While he's doing that, let's listen to his compressor.
Oh, that's good.
They probably can't even hear on the microphone, but we've got
good.
A noisy compressor right in the background at the right time.
And thank you for stopping.
Yeah, this was like my 20th time on this take. Finally got it right. Here comes the compressor. Why are you taking those out?
So I have to adjust the caster.
Yeah, but you didn't do it to the other side, I guess is why I'm confused.
Yeah, no, the other side worked out good. It just happened to work out.
Oh, where it didn't require that much more adjustment.
Yeah. I gotta get a lock nut.
Now you don't go by like even counting threads on each side.
Well, you can, but it's never perfect. you use that as like an initial baseline, but none of it ever seems to be perfect. You know, sometimes it could be 5 threads here and 7 here.
Right, because right off the bat, you can see that there's way more threads exposed on this side than this side.
Right now, we're reading 8.5 degrees because I don't want to change my camber. I'm going to unscrew this out a half a turn and this one in a half a turn, which essentially is going to move that A-arm forward.
So you rotate the whole thing half a turn.
I'm going to go half a turn, yep. Sucker wants to be right on.
Yahtzee.
Okay, I went in with that a half a turn, and now I'm going to go out with this one a half a turn.
So it just tweaks it and brings this
Forward.
the tip of this forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We need like a fancy illustrator, somebody that can do animation or something. We show this cool diagram of exactly what you're talking about.
Would be nice. Right?
It would be nice, but we're not on that kind of budget.
The whole spindle's rotating.
When you're turning right and left.
So like you're zeroed here, but as you turn, the spindle is moving forward, but it's rotating too a little bit.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah. So we're at 7 and 7.6. So we need to go a little bit more. So it looks like we'll probably do another half a turn to each. But this one's going to go in a half, and that's going to go out a half.
So again, you're trying to move that front end forward.
Yeah. Obviously, that side we didn't have to do any of this. Okay, so we had 6.6. I'm going to check camber again here. Okay, we're still right on with the camber because we're at 6.2. And so over there we had 6. So.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so that's what we're after.
It's not my decision. If the rider likes it, that's his decision.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to get, it's very difficult to get it like spot on. And like that side's 0.2 and this is 0.1. So
in your experience, that's very close.
It's very close. Okay, so now we're going to get on to, I'm going to set the toe.
And do you continue on this side since you're already here?
Yeah, I'm just going to leave everything the way it is. And I'm going to I'm going to put my bars back up. I have to get up on top, and I'm going to put straps on the handlebars where it's in the center. And then you'll see the process. I'm just going to disconnect and put the spindle nut on. I used 2 tie downs and centered the handlebars.
So just strap them right to the rear to keep them from moving.
Yeah, I mean, you can have someone sit on the machine and hold it. In this case, this just makes it easy.
Are you used to having someone sit on it?
No.
Now, what do they prefer to run? I'm an 1/8 of an inch out on my race setup for cross-country racing.
Yeah,
The moto guys, perfectly even or a little in or a little out?
I'm going to set it at 0 or just a little bit out. Right now, I'm just trying to, this isn't going to be the total toe. This is just, I'm trying to make sure that we're close. All right, so that's essentially 0. 35 and 15/16. And that is 36. And yeah, about a 16. So right now we have an 1/8 inch.
Yep.
Now we're going to run with that.
Very minuscule, but that's the toe out you want.
Yeah. I mean, I don't completely know what kind of bump steer this front end has. but generally I like starting off there. But if we were to actually track it, you know, you could adjust, and, you know, it's possible that you'd want it a little bit towed in because down deeper in the travel, it's going to tow out.
Mm-hmm. And again, that could change, that could vary upon track conditions, rider preferences.
Yeah.
So this final step that he was doing, can actually be done on your stock setup if you don't have nice A-arms for motocross racing. All it is adjusting that tie rod.
Yeah, right. If you have OEM A-arms and no adjustability.
Yeah. Let's give the viewer an idea of an inexpensive way of setting your own toe. There's the string method. There's the long straight edge method.
Yes. The idea, though, you know, really what you need to make sure of is, you know, have somebody on it, the handlebars are straight. You want to make sure that you're going off of the rear. If you're using like a long level or a really long straight piece.
Type of straight edge that you could put along
against
the outside,
the wheel.
Yeah, the outside edge of the tires.
You know, you want to be roughly in the middle of the tire.
Right along
You don't want to be where it slopes out. You want to be right around where the center is and put it up against the rear, and then, you know, measure off, and you do it to both sides, and you get it really close, and then you just measure what I just did here on the inside of the tire.
Yeah.
Both. And again, right around the halfway point.
Yeah, and toe being the front, we want toe out. On this one, he hit toe out 1/16 of an inch. So It actually makes that wheel kick just slightly out on both sides, outward. But that's a good formula for quick steering.
Yes.
So you lock down the tie rods, and that was the final step for alignment.
Yes.
All right, Mario, that was the final step, tightening down those tie rods for that alignment process. You kind of made it look easy, but you had the right setup stuff.
Yes.
You got to have the right kind of tools to do it properly, but I think you gave enough insight if somebody was looking to attempt this on their own machine, you know, what to look for, proper adjustment, how to get it done, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest reasons I do it this way is, one, repeatability. Two, if this frame was really bent or something was really weird, you'd be able to detect it, pick it up, you know, go in this route. So yeah, it can be done on the floor. Did it for years that way with, you know, a big square, big long piece of, you know, something straight to go up against the tire. But as things progress, this is the direction we went.
Yeah, and just show us again, because we haven't really checked out the back. You just tie strap it right to the table.
Well, first I have...
You got the brace in the front, but
I have the brace in the front. I have a jack, an adjustable jack in the center.
Okay.
And then I pull the back down so that I'm like sitting on that adjustable stand, and where the frame is level, essentially at 7 inches.
So that's your starting point.
Yeah, that's essentially what we're going to set the ride height to. So that's how I do all the front end measurement.
And that's before you put this front bracket on?
No, I put the front. Well, you kind of do it together. You know, you're measuring from the frame to the table at the foot peg and up here before it angles up. And I'm getting that frame where I want it at. In this case, it was 8 inches because I'm taking this up. But anyway, I'm 8 inches level, which then gets me into that hole on the front bracket. And then once that's all good, I pull down under the back.
Awesome.
And that locks the whole thing.
Well, as you can see, he's got his own TRX inscribed in there for the Honda that probably gets reused a couple times through the years, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, if you're looking to have Mario set up your quad and you are in the upstate New York area and you can get the quad over here, definitely reach out. The contact information is in the video description. And also, if you're interested in seeing this four-wheeler get built, we have a whole build series just for this quad. So click that link in the top corner. Mario, thanks for instructing us on how to properly align a quad.
Yeah, thanks for watching.